Hey my friends, how are you? Good morning to those of you who managed to stay awake. And good morning to those of you who are watching this summary of Free Practice 2 for the Las Vegas GP on Friday, a race that could decide the Drivers' Championship this season. But before I show you everything that happened on the track in Vegas, I invite you to subscribe and activate notifications, since that's the only way you'll never miss a single detail about the world of Formula One. And also, leave a like to support our work this Friday morning here in Brazil. Tell me, what time are you watching this video? Well, with time freed up, almost everyone went to the track immediately to start their fast laps, with only the two Racing Bulls cars, Albon and Sergio Perez, staying in the pits for a few more minutes at the beginning. In this first attempt, everyone used medium tires, and Esteban Ocon was the fastest, with Magnussen in second and Piastri in third, with these times changing considerably, as the drivers gradually gained confidence and the track became cleaner. Even with the track improving, Max Verstappen complained about the lack of grip, not being able to set good times, and seeing the Mercedes cars start off this second practice session very strongly again. It is worth remembering that the team of Hamilton and Russell led the first practice session with a performance well above their rivals. Another person who was not at all happy with his car was Fernando Alonso, who after 10 minutes of practice asked the team to change the settings, as he was jumping too much and the time was not showing, with him only being 13th at that point. At Red Bull, Verstappen did lap after lap on the medium tires, but even so the times did not drop much, with him almost 1.5 seconds slower than the leader's time. After these first attempts, most of the cars returned to the garage to make adjustments, with some returning after almost 30 minutes on soft tires for a few more attempts. And exactly halfway through the practice session, George Russell was in first place with Lewis Hamilton in second, with him opening up almost half a second over third place Charles Leclerc and almost 2 seconds over Max Verstappen, who had not yet completed a lap on soft tires up until that point. Speaking of Verstappen, Red Bull worked hard on the front of his car in this part of the practice session, changing some settings to try to find more performance, since up until that point, things had not been looking promising for the team this weekend. With 25 minutes to go, the driver returned to the track for a few more laps, but still did not achieve good times in this part. Still almost 2 seconds behind the leader's time, and struggling to complete a lap without losing control of his car. Speaking of Williams, Albon had problems with his fuel system and lost some time in the pits with the team trying to solve this problem. And in the other Williams car we had, with 18 minutes to go, the track was cleared and some cars went out on soft tires in search of the final adjustments to qualifying pace. And some cars, such as Ferrari and Alpine, did the opposite and went out on medium tires to practice at race pace, with Sainz and Leclerc setting good times in these simulations. With 5 minutes to go, the track was full with all the cars doing their last laps of this first day of activities. Max Verstappen did his last laps on medium tires and continued to struggle a lot to keep the car on the track, going off a few times, and the lap times at race pace were also not good, with the two Red Bull cars closing this practice 2 with a much worse performance than in practice 1, with the team having a lot to analyze until free practice 3 to try to get this car up to a more acceptable pace. In these final laps, the two Ferrari cars set the best times at race pace, with Hamilton a little behind. And with the time running out, Lewis Hamilton was the fastest, with Lando Norris very close behind in second and George Russell in third, just below the two Ferrari cars, and then Pierre Gasly, who showed a very good pace on this first day. And at the end of the table, Max Verstappen was only 17th, with Sergio Perez in 19th. So, this race promises to be very exciting this weekend, with everything unpredictable for now, and Mercedes apparently being the strongest so far. So tell me, what are your expectations for this race? Could Mercedes be the surprise? Will Red Bull recover?